I don't think anybody has too many bad things to say about Dad. People that came to work for him, they stayed. Our farm manager, George Pierce, was with us for over 40 years. Malcolm Pierce grew up on the farm. The hay dealer, the plumber, the electrician, they always stayed. So I think that's the hallmark of Dad.
I got interested in the horses when I was about 12 or 13 years old, and Moffat was kind enough to take me under his wing, and he probably gave me my first riding lesson, and it was probably 4 years later I was on the Canadian Junior International team. So he was either a good teacher or he supplied me with some very nice horses to ride, but anyway, Moffat did a lot for me. He was like a second father.
Moffat Dunlap's lifelong love affair with the equestrian world started early. He learned to ride aboard Jimmy at his grandmother's farm, Donalda Farms, in Don Mills, Ontario.
Oh, I've known Moff since he's 10 years old, and so that's about 65 years. He's one of my oldest and dearest friends, as well as a teammate. But he was originally, a friend of my younger brother, Norman, my late brother, Norman. And so he used to come over to the house and was up at our cottage, and they rode together in the Pony Club, which was like a young riders club at that time.
My earliest impressions when he was riding with Lou Makuski over not too far from where I had our barn, and he was competing. My wife competed in the same group with him in the Pony Club over there, and Moff was a good competitor. He and Jimmy Elder were very close friends, and Moff was often the butt of Jimmy's jokes.
Moffat launched a brilliant riding career in 1956.
Well, I knew Moffat. I was just starting to come on the scene when his career was probably in full bloom, if I may say. And so he was one of the riders that I would look up to and watch and so on and so forth.
If you wanted to get the ideal, position and rider and technique, Moffat would have been the one, and really on any kind of horse.
His illustrious career included a team gold medal at the 1970 World Championships and a bronze team medal at the 1967 Pan Am Games. Moffat and Grand Nouvelle also tied the world indoor puissance record of 7 foot 3 inches over the Harrisburg Wall. Moffat Dunlap retired from riding in 1976, but actual retirement was not a concept he was familiar with.
I think Dad's a guy who frankly can't say no. When a phone goes off and somebody's asking him for help, he'll always be there. Whether it's Equine Guelph, Humber, Seneca, the Royal Agricultural Winter Fair, you name it, if there's a charity around locally that have to do with the horse industry, Dad was always part of it.
He stopped riding and concentrated on his business, I guess to a great extent, but also concentrated on the Royal Winter Fair and other aspects of the horse sport. And it was so great to see his willingness and his ability and his desire to give back and to make the sport a better sport and to make the competitions more exciting and viable.
He sets a goal and he's very focused on it. He always has a plan of how he's going to get there. And then he's enthusiastic. He brings a lot of enthusiasm and good sportsmanship,
Moffat Dunlap's accomplishments are almost too numerous to mention. He's a horseman who achieved incredible feats as an athlete and a sport builder. And he didn't stop there. He was also awarded an honorary Doctorate of Laws degree by the University of Toronto for his volunteer leadership in equestrian sport, education, and healthcare. His style of leadership earned nothing but respect from friends and family.
First off, you have to love the sport, and he loved the sport. And we were always a good group of friends, and I think 65 years later, we're still a great group of friends. And I'm talking about Tommy Gayford, John Rumble, Brian Herms, Jimmy Day, Torchy Miller, all the people that I rode on the team, and Ian Miller later on. So he's helped a lot of people. For instance, he lent me horses on the team when I didn't have horses. So he was a guy that was very trustworthy and very sincere about what he does.